Welcome to the Grit of the Matter, where we talk about what it takes to grow through life's unexpected challenges. I'm Denise, and this podcast is built on 5 pillars: grace, resilience, intentional, trust, and thrive. These conversations are for inspiration and education only and are not substitute for medical or professional advice. Please consult your qualified provider for your personal needs. If this resonates with you, be sure to like, follow, share, and make sure to turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get to the grit of the matter.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the Grit of the Matter. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than what I originally planned. Normally, I record these solo episodes earlier in the week, usually Wednesday or Thursday. But this week, my body had a whole different plan in mind. It's been kind of a rough week for me, pain-wise. When those joints, they tend to give me trouble. They start acting up all at once. It can affect more than just my movement. It just throws me off. It messes with my sleep, messes with my focus, and it sometimes just makes me feel foggy. And this week, that's exactly where I've been. So instead of waiting until everything feels perfect again, I realized this might actually be the conversation that needs to happen today. Because real life does not always follow that schedule we had planned for it. Our bodies sometimes just don't do what we want it to do. I talk a lot about resilience and moving forward with grit, but sometimes resilience isn't pushing harder. Sometimes resilience looks like slowing down. This week, my workouts haven't looked the way I wanted them to. Even during my mindful movement sessions today, I had to mention to everyone that I was having trouble getting around. I had to rely on my notes a lot more than usual, because my focus just it's not quite there. And that can be frustrating, especially when you're someone who likes to stay active and stay on top of things. But weeks like this remind me of something important. Strength is not always about pushing through. Sometimes strength is about listening. Yes, I don't always like to listen, but um, many of you know that I live with a rare condition that affects my joints. Some weeks are okay and manageable, and other weeks remind me that this journey is still very, very real. But I never look at it as something that defines me. What it does do is teach me lessons that I might not have learned otherwise. Lessons about patience, lessons about adapting, and maybe the biggest lesson of all is giving myself that grace that it needs, because I'm not very good at that. Grace is actually the first word in the GRITT acronym for a reason. Grace means allowing yourself to be human. Grace means understanding that healing and strength don't move in a straight line. There are weeks where everything flows, and there are weeks where the best thing you can do is slow down and just take care of yourself. For me, this week, that meant spending time just praying, taking longer baths in warm water, slowing down my routines, leaning on my husband a little bit extra for support, and shifting my mindset when frustration tries to creep in on me. None of those things are dramatic, but they are very, very powerful. One of the thoughts I kept reminding myself this week was slowing down is not failure. And I do have to remind myself that. And I'm sure there's people out there that are doing the same thing. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to keep performing the same way all the time. But sometimes our bodies live our lives, and even our seasons change. And the truth is, sometimes the most resilient thing you can do is just adjust. It's okay to say, today looks different. It's okay to say, I'm not operating at 100% today. It's also definitely okay to remind yourself it's okay to not be okay all the time. So if you're listening right now and your week hasn't gone the way that you'd hoped it had either, maybe you're dealing with pain, maybe you're exhausted, maybe life threw something unexpected your way. I want you to know something right now. You're not behind, you're human. And moving forward doesn't always mean moving fast. Sometimes it means taking that next step at a pace that respects where you are. This is actually something that I try to teach through movement as well. Fitness isn't about pushing your body, it's about supporting your body. There will always be days where we feel strong and energized, but there will also be days where the win is simply showing up and moving a little. Both of those days count. Both of those days are still progress. This week reminded me of a few things. That grace is necessary. Showing up, slowing down isn't failure. And that sometimes we have to tell ourselves something very simple, but very, very important. It's okay to not be okay sometime. But even in those moments, we still can show and choose how we move forward. So, if this week has been a hard one for you too, take a breath. Give yourself a little grace. Take care of your body. Take care of your mind. And remember that resilience isn't about perfection. It's about continuing forward even when the pace changes. So just remember, you're never in this journey alone. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for being here today. If this episode encouraged you, please share it, leave a review, and turn on those notifications so we can continue to grow together. Remember, strength isn't about being untouched. It's about choosing who you become in the process. And wherever you are in your journey, you are not in this alone. This is the grit of the matter. So, keep moving forward.